just ridiculous. And, I shudder to think how much money the American taxpayer put out for her education. It makes me absolutely crazy to think how much money we've paid for that PhD for her to come up with the pandemic of whiteness.
We posit that there is a whiteness pandemic behind the racism pandemic, and that this begins in the family system where young children are socialized into the culture of whiteness within white families. Our first recommendation is to remember that the whiteness pandemic is a pandemic. If you were born and raised in the United States, especially in a white family, then you've been raised in the pandemic, and you can play a role in halting and reversing this pandemic. We have two specific recommendations to that end. The first is for white parents to invest time in their own racial identity development through joining an organization like Showing Up for Racial Justice or your local BLM chapter.
What? Oh my gosh. That was a professor at the University of Minnesota. I mean, before we get into this, I want to say I never knew Minnesota had so many nuts. I mean, I was familiar with Minnesota from 90210. Remember the show 90210? That's where Brenda and her brother were originally from. Yeah, but I thought it was all white, and now we got all these nutty black people popping up everywhere. Shelly, what are your thoughts?
Every time I see people like that, I think of UK did, because you always say like they either got like short hair, or they got a nose earring or something every time. And I noticed she had an accent. So again, here we go again. Someone who is not American originally, not US certainly, and they're coming in here trying to change our culture. This pandemic of whiteness. So what do you call it if you're born into a black family? Is it a pandemic of blackness or whatever that's supposed to be? And I mean, look, the way the black culture is going, you might want to check out white culture. I mean, you might want to get on that pandemic. I mean, I don't know. You just might want to do that. These people, and it's always an academic, because most of this bullshit starts in the academic arena and it filters down through the culture. So when you start hearing people talk about, these are the ecosystem and the pandemics, these social they're repeating what they've learned in academia at most colleges. And it's not just the Ivy League colleges. Unfortunately, we can't just isolate it there anymore. But this is all learned vocabulary, learned concepts that absolutely mean nothing to your everyday lives. It doesn't mean anything except that you probably will turn out to be, again, a racist, a violent criminal, maybe. You're going anti-American, certainly. That's your best guarantee that what you're going to turn out to be.
It's just ridiculous. And, I shudder to think how much money the American taxpayer put out for her education. It makes me absolutely crazy to think how much money we've paid for that PhD for her to come up with the pandemic of whiteness. This is absolute insanity. And there are probably, maybe another 50,000 of her teaching young, impressionable kids their first time away from home. They're on these college campuses and they just want to fit in. So everybody doubles down on this idiocy. Then they grow up into adults who don't want to work, who vote for people like Zamdammit because they think, oh, I'll just get everything free because the white man owes me something. This victimhood card, this hanging on to this sense of survivorship that she's not even a part of. She's not a part of this. It makes me crazy that we open up our arms to this nation and we embrace the world. There's not one other country on the face of this globe that doesn't have somebody here in the United States. We take them in, we feed them, clothe them, love them up, and apparently educate them very well, only for them to turn around and bite the hand that quite literally fed them. Because from whiteness, they're going to jump from whiteness right into America, right? For them, it's synonymous. So here we are funding our own demise, and we have got to do better. We have got to do better than this. I'm embarrassed. I really am.
Yeah, and the thing, again, I got to go back to Minnesota. What the hell is going on in Minnesota? I'm a 90s girl. I grew up in the 90s, and I was watching 90210, Beverly Hills 90210. Brandon and Brenda Walsh were the Minnesota twins, and it was Lily White. I want you guys to sound off in the chat. Let me know. Do you guys remember this? Beverly Hills 90210. Remember, it was all white. Now we have all these people, these nutty leftists in Minnesota. Where are these people coming from? And why are they even?
I think they left California.
Don't even like cold. It's cold there, isn't it?
No, I think they were resettled. You know, refugees get resettled in places where the United States doesn't have a lot of population. Right? So they resettle at a place and say, "Oh, well, you want to go to college? Absolutely, we'll pay for you to go to college. We want our educated folk." And then what you end up is an educated asshole. This is what she is. She's an educated dummy.
Yeah. And I bet you she had a grant for that, some kind of grant.
I'm telling you,
kind of research grant, not just for her research, but even to go to school there. Because a lot of these academic, again, it's another grift, a racket. They need to get people to go into these programs or come to here to go to school. We'll pay for your school. We'll give you all these grants and subsidies, i.e., taxpayer money, and this is what we get.
Well, we know this can be done then because this is what Biden tried to do, countrywide. He tried to do what they did in Minnesota, where they resettled all these people, and now they've totally changed the demographic and the culture in Minnesota. Because I'm telling y'all, I remember in the 90s, this was not like this. Okay. And so now you have Biden 2025, he was trying to do it to the whole country. Thank God for President Trump. Folks, these people are wacko, okay? And again, we're talking about how the left have become full-blown racist. Here in this next clip is Joy Reid with, I believe her last name is Welch. I can't remember the lady's first name. Talking about J.D. Vance and Erica Kirk.
Motivates them. So they can't have the successor to MAGA be the guy with the brown Hindu wife. They're also Christian nationalists. That ain't gonna work. That's why he's throwing his wife under the bus. Poor Usha. Or she's in on it, right?
And she's playing slap and tickle with Erica Kirk's the weirdest shit I've ever seen. Yeah, she's like in her Tammy Faye era.
Okay. Holding on the back of his head and rubbing on his head.
Some weird shit.
Baby. Don't do that to Jason. I'm gonna start thinking something's going on. Why are you holding the back of his head? I'm like, you're not doing that right thing. You're supposed to be a widow. You in leather pants?
Yeah.
That's not widow wear.
Could you imagine if...
Wouldn't it be the most perfect fairy tale, MAGA fairy tale?
Yeah.
If he finally sees the light that he needs a white queen instead of this brown Hindu? I mean, I'm not saying that's happening.
Right.
Or maybe that Usha's not even in on it. Maybe she's whatever. But that's one entrant. Another entrant is frankly Donald Trump Jr. If he can, keep it together.
That's terrible. Let me tell y'all something. Those three are three of the ugliest women I have seen in a long time. In a long time, they are three ugly women and they're miserable. And let me tell you, they're ugly, not just on the outside, but on the inside. This is what I'm talking about. They are ugly on the outside and the inside. And you can tell ugly comes in all shades, sizes, and colors. You got a fat one, you got two skinny ones, and they black and white, all blondes, and they're all ugly.
Joy, I have to say, Joy looks better than I think she looks better now than she has way in the past. I'll give her that credit. This is another facet of I'm going to say, I don't know if you call it Trump derangement syndrome, but it's certainly some kind of derangement syndrome. These people are obsessed with this. I mean, they can't, what is widow wear? Because the woman wore leather pants. I mean, and not only that, they think they're funny. They're not funny. I mean, they sound very foolish. They do sound miserable. I mean, it's just, it's weird. All I can say is it's weird. It's just weird. And they are, I'll just go with your word, KJ. They are miserable.
And the goal to create such an obscene scenario.
It is who they are. Listen, when I tell you that they're trying to outdo each other in the level of depravity, they are. You got Botox Betty sitting there talking about, oh, isn't that just strange? No, No Botox. It's not strange. The fact that your skin is still on your skull is a miracle of science. You got that thing pulled so tight, if you sneeze, you might lose an eyeball. Honey, hush. You don't have a right to talk about what Erica Kirk puts on her legs. If she wants to wear leather pants, God knows she can afford to. She can wear what she'd like to wear. Remember that feminist stuff that you guys were so riled up about? What happened to that? What happened to the girl power that you could work with men and be friends with the man without sleeping with the man? Wasn't that what y'all stood on? When you were out there saying, well, we have girl power. She's showing you what girl power looks like, right? Here's a grown woman doing grown woman things in this circle of power that you will never, ever be in. Where's the applause? Is it because she's a conservative that makes her weird? Is it because she does not dabble in Botox that makes her strange for you? When you say ugly people, I want to say demonic. And Erica Kirk has really wrangled their chains on that side of the fence, and they are showing out. I wish I could say that she's funny. She's not funny. She hasn't been funny ever. Can I say that they're pathetic? Absolutely. Can I say that they're probably miserable? Yeah, but I mean, she's making some money so she can dry her eyes with a couple of stacks of $100 bills. Make no mistake. But apparently money doesn't buy happiness. It just buys Botox.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, I've seen people who have a lot of money and they are miserable. Money does not make you happy. I've seen it. Yeah. It does not. Now, I mean, everybody wants to live comfortably, but it will not guarantee happiness. Believe me, I can tell you that.
If you're miserable before money, you'll probably be miserable afterwards.
Absolutely. Well, let me tell you, I'd like to try. So go ahead.
I want to try. I mean, I want to try. Yeah, I'm not miserable before.
One. Right. I could be the one, to be the exception to that rule. Go ahead and send me cash, drop a couple mil, and I'm going to show you how happy girls do with happy money.
All right, folks. So again, we are talking about how the left has become full-blown racist. All right. And we're staying along those lines. I want to take you next to this viral clip of a lawyer talking about how she loves to overcharge white people. She's a woke lawyer and she's saying it out loud.
I love to overcharge white people and organizations and do pro bono work for black orgs. And that's just me being very blunt. I will give them ridiculous rates, and then I'll have like a nonprofit or a black org or somebody doing some work, and they'll be like, I've only got this much money. And I'm like, keep it. A white person just cut me a check. Let's do this for free. But honestly, like I try to balance like a lot of that pro bono work and being able to get paid work from folks who do have the deep pockets. And so it's like this interesting balance where I'm almost like funding the things I'm passionate about. Mm-hmm. I'm working with Viola's House, which is a black woman-owned organization that has maternity homes for young mothers. And, they're going to kick off a new maternity home in Baltimore, Maryland, and I'm going to get to be a part of that and opening that home. And they're not paying me anything because they don't need to.
Amen.
You can't take the low-hanging fruit, especially for black people, because, it's a lot more things out here that we can make money from. It's a lot more brands that can put money in our pockets, but they just send you the stuff like, okay, see what you're going to take. And it's like, you're gonna have your little cousin out here addicted to gambling because it's gamified and it made you 15. You see what I'm saying?
Wow. I mean, so she's pretty much telling you guys, I mean, if I was a white person, I wouldn't do any business with her anymore. And she's actually, you heard what she said. I didn't know this until tonight. She looks like she's here in Baltimore. Nicole, what are your thoughts on that exchange?
Listen, if she's here, the Maryland Bar Association's got work to do. So there is some ethical requirement, believe it or not. Lawyers do have an ethical reasoning that they have to follow, and overcharging someone so that you don't charge someone else. It ain't it. That's not how this is supposed to work. So she's outing herself, and the internet does what the internet does. Again, another person, quote unquote, of color who's spouting all this stuff, but goes home to her white husband. It makes you think that at some point, are people going to start seeing through this? What is it going to take for people to see the reality that's in front of them? Is it going to be, okay, she came on the show, she said what she said, and went home to her white husband. Now, what do I do with the information that she gave me? We've got to stop this race baiting. It doesn't really work, especially when the internet gives what the internet gives, which is receipts. And I'm sure it didn't take them maybe 10, 15 minutes to figure this puzzle out. The same thing with Don Lemon. He's like, white men, white men, white men. And honey, aren't you married to a white man? It makes no sense. And people say, well, that's different. Love is love. Well, what happened to the love for somebody else who might be white? We have to stop the race baiting. It sets us back. It sets back our culture, black and white. It sets the nation back.
Yeah, I mean, all right, Shelly, I need you to help me understand this, because many of them on the left do this, where they spout all this racist, discriminatory, nasty things about white people, and then their significant others are white people. Make this make sense. What is going on?
I'm going to quote the great LJ89040. He's cucked. That's what it is. These people, I'm now more convinced that when these white people who marry these particularly black women that talk like this and act like this, I think they do it out of some kind of sense of white guilt in their mind. That's what I think they're doing. I think they feel like, oh, I feel bad for my history, my white privilege, and we had slaves in our history somewhere 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 generations ago, and so now they are simps, they are cucks. That's what they're doing. But if you look at it on the other hand, she might be the one that's getting effed. Because he might be thinking from a twisted perspective. Well, I'm still gonna go ahead and F me a black woman too.
Yep.
I don't know which way it goes, but I got another black woman. I'm gonna go ahead and F. I'm trying to stop cursing y'all for the new year, so I got to put it into practice soon. But I think it's this craziness going on, because there's no way in the world that somebody in there saying it to a sane person when you come home and you say, oh, well, you said such and such. I mean, well, how does that translate, to us? Or does it? It doesn't make sense. It can't be anybody saying he's either cucked or he's just in it for the fuck. That's what I'm going to say. I had to get it out.
I agree with you, Shelly. The blacker she is, the more he love it. Please believe me. And I think to a high regard for her, the whiter he is, the more she loves it. It may just be some kind of, racial kink that they're into. But in 2025, you can't sit there and talk shit about white people when you're married to a white man and don't expect somebody to drop the receipts. Come on now.
Right. Right. It's weird. It's so bizarre. But this is what the left is. They're bizarre. There's no rhyme or reason to their agenda, to the way they work. The only thing we know is they use everything they can to pander. They have no solutions, but if they can use you or emotionalize something to get your vote or to get you to do something, this is what they are going to do. And it will make no sense, but if they can make it make sense for you, then that's what they're going to do. So folks, again, as you come in, hit that like button. It helps to get this video out in front of a wider audience, and subscribe. We have a goal to hit 250,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We can do it, but we need your help. Yes. So please hit that like button and subscribe.